Okay, sample problem number 2. The moist unit weight of a soil is 17 kilonewton per cubic meter. Given that the water content is equal to 12% and the specific gravity of solid is equal to 2.65, find the following. And letter D, the mass of water in kilogram per cubic meter that must be added to reach the full saturation. So again, to approach this problem, the first thing is to state the given information or data. So these are the given data. We have a moist soil whose unit weight is equal to 17 kilonewton per cubic meter, a water content of 12%, and the specific gravity of solid is 2.65. So ito lang yung data. Required, A, dry unit weight or gamma sub D, letter B, porosity or N, and then letter C, degree of saturation or S, and then letter D, the additional mass of water to reach a 100% degree of saturation. Solution. So given that we have a known water content and a known moist unit weight, we can directly solve for the dry unit weight. So isa yan siya sa mga trick, no? Pag given ang moist unit weight and water content, you can directly solve for the dry unit weight. And they are related according to this formula. So gamma sub D, or the dry unit weight, is equal to the moist unit weight over 1 plus water content. So substituting the given information or data, so the dry unit weight is equal to 15.18 kilonewton per cubic meter. Next, once the dry unit weight is known, and we can relate that known or the computed value of the dry unit weight to solve for the other required parameters. And we can use this formula. The dry unit weight is equal to G sub S over 1 plus E times unit weight of water. Actually, this is derived from equation number 2, which is gamma sub M is equal to, or gamma lang, is equal to G sub S plus SE over 1 plus E times gamma of water. And since dry ang degree of saturation, so yung term sa numerator na SE is magiging 0. And then yung nasa left side ng equation is dry unit weight. Okay? So let us now substitute the known values. And only E is unknown in that equation, so we can now solve for E, which is equal to 0.7125. With known degree of saturation, we can now compute for the porosity, because the degree of the void ratio and the porosity is related by from the formula N is equal to E over 1 plus E. So we can now solve for the porosity, which is equal to 41.61%. Since we also know from equation 1 that S times E is equal to W times G sub S, or sa board exam, tawag nila dito is GWES na formula. We then determine the degree of saturation to be, so just manipulate the equation number 1, because we have a known moisture content, known specific gravity of solid, and known void ratio. So we can now solve for the degree of saturation. That's equal to 0.4463, and convert that to percentage, which is approximately equal to 45%. We can now determine the saturated unit weight once the degree of saturation, the void ratio, and other parameters are known. So the saturated unit weight is equal to G sub S plus SE over 1 plus E times gamma of water. So yung S natin dito is equal to 1 because we are trying to solve for the saturated unit weight, not the moist unit weight. Okay, kung moist unit weight lang, so ang degree of saturation natin is 45%. Okay, so the saturated unit weight is equal to 19.26 kilonewton per cubic meter. So next, to solve for the mass of water to be added to reach full saturation, we will consider volume of soil equal to 1 cubic meter. This is the total volume of soil, not the volume of solid or the volume of water or the dry volume. Okay, the total volume na 1 cubic meter lang. The total mass at full saturation, or we denote that as M sub sat, is the sum of the unsaturated soil mass, or M only, and the mass of water. So that is MSAT is equal to M plus MW. And dividing both sides of the equation by V is equal to 1 cubic meter, so we have this equation. So as we know, mass over volume is equal to the density of water. But we are interested in converting the density to unit weight. So we have to multiply both sides by a gravitational constant G. Okay, so we have gamma saturated is equal to gamma plus MW times G. Okay, so this equation is derived from the equation above. And then solving for the mass of water as our unknown, so we have M sub W is equal to gamma saturated minus moist unit weight or gamma divided by G. So yun na yung additional mass of water that we need to add in order to reach full saturation. Okay, so substituting the known values of the saturated unit weight, the moist unit weight, and the gravitational constant, so we have M sub W is equal to 2,260 kilogram, but we have to take note that this is only good if we consider a total volume of 1 cubic meter of soil. Okay, but that assumption will apply to any volume kasi nga we have an infinite volume of soil, and we only consider a unit volume which is equal to 1 cubic meter. Okay, so be mindful also that the mass of water, if you directly solve the mass of water using this formula and substituting known values, kumbaga ang unit na result is not in kilogram per cubic meter. So i-convert natin yan siya into kilogram per cubic meter para mas manageable ang final answer. So the final answer is 2260 kilogram per 1 cubic meter of soil volume.